Yeah. Hi. Welcome to Table Talk Friday at D&D podcast. Three guys are going to talk to each other and give their advice and opinions on Dungeons and Dragons and whatnot. If you like the show, make sure to follow them on whichever podcast service you prefer and come back every single Friday for another upload or episode, whatever you prefer to call it. Have fun, I guess. Bye. Yeah, ta-ta. Bye. Yeah, see ya. Bye. Bye.
All right, Drew. So, it's been a very busy couple of weeks. We didn't even get to play D&D this week. And one of the things that's been keeping me so busy is all this wedding planning stuff for the end of the year. Because, we decided to get it started pretty early, I guess we got most of the planning started like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. But, my whole family is texting me at least once a day to be like, what about this thing? What about this thing? What about this thing? And I'm like, we've got most of it planned. We hired the photographer already. We gave him his first payment. We already got the food set up. Like, food is scheduled. We already have the guy. And it's for October.
So you're good, man.
Yeah,
What's
we
the problem?
got the food ready. Gabby and I know generally what we want to wear, but we don't have the clothes picked out.
That's not hard, though.
Let's see, both wedding parties all set up. All I got to do is buy them the shirts that I'm going to have them wear.
There you go.
And yeah, pretty much accommodations are good. I mean, for which we're deciding. I don't know if you guys did anything like this, but we're deciding whether because all of you guys are already going to be living there, so it doesn't matter, But for accommodations for the people she is inviting who are coming across the country to come to the wedding, we're trying to decide whether we want to get like a big Airbnb to be like, hey, you guys can just stay here if you want, or whether we want to just be like, hey, we reserved out a hotel block, buy a room if you want.
You can. It just gets really pricey really fast. I think it's a great accommodation, but a lot of people feel like you have to do it for some reason.
Yeah.
You don't have to. People want to come to your wedding, they can come. If they don't want to come or they can't afford it, that's okay. It's understandable. We had a couple rooms at the Airbnb we had rented out that we gave to people with babies, people that were from out of state, that kind of thing. But yeah, you don't have to. It's a really good idea. Like if you want to ball out a little bit and be nice to some family members, whatever, go for it. It's just it gets really pricey really fast.
Yeah, I think it would run like $1,500, $2,000 for the one we were looking at, which is a lot. That's a good bit of money, like a good chunk of change for accommodations. But at the same time, I'm like, what if that's the price difference between some people coming that Gabby cares about coming, like family wise?
Well, I think that may be we're getting real here at Table Talk Friday. that may be a conversation to have with the family. Like if there's someone you know is struggling, or there's someone you think that may be their deciding factor, just have a conversation. Like, look, it's a whole lot of money to book everybody, but like, I really want you to come. If you need some help, we can give you a couple $100 to stay somewhere, blah blah blah, whatever it may be. You can crash on the couch, whatever it may be. We had Patrick crash on the couch at the place. Never before. It didn't matter. We had the place rented out. Use it up. Fill it up.
Yeah, my buddy Miles, who I was in training with for those 2 years, he's going to be my best man. He's coming from Hawaii, and so we're having him stay at the lake house with us with my mom. So he's going to stay in like the little guest room that they have. So
Okay.
yeah, but I'm super looking forward to it. It's funny, actually, some of our other friends were like, you know what? You've been to my grandparents' house before. And it's two of them. They're very sweet, and they have a baby. And we were like, what if I told my grandparents that they were going to go stay with them? Because I know these people don't have tons of money, because I know exactly how much money they make, given that they're still in the military.
Oh okay.
So I'm like, if I just send them over there, I know I'm saving them accommodation money, right? Because it's an expensive trip to make out to do something like this.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So
the fun, just little tidbit story as far as weddings go. There was a family member of mine that had a wedding out of country recently. They had this wedding, and my sister Eric attended. She spent almost as much money as I spent on my entire wedding attending their wedding, for like, staying there, as far as actually being somewhere, the flight, everything.
Is this as much as you personally spent, or as much as the whole wedding cost?
The whole wedding. My whole wedding.
Oh my god, dude.
It was exactly, roughly 75% of what
Oh
my wedding
my
cost.
god.
Yeah. And so I get the accommodations 100%, but it gets real pricey real fast.
Yeah, it's now you say that I'm like, well, it's not that hard to get to North Carolina.
That's true. That is true. Hey, it's
Yeah.
a cheap state.
Yeah, it is really tough state for insurance. I'll tell you what.
Oh yeah,
Lots of
insurance guy over here.
it's a really tough state for insurance. I won't get super into personal job stuff, but I will tell you a story about something that happened at work this week that has heavily has to do with my skills in D&D. Okay?
Okay.
This was pretty wild, and this is our topic for the day, audience. We're going to talk about real life skills and how D&D has affected them, because the other day, so I've been taking like full on calls and like lots of stuff for the past few weeks, getting really used to it. I'm having long conversations with people about life and stuff. I am an absolute jokester too. When I'm on the other end, like I'll pull out
an absolute jokester, he says.
I pull out the most random like comments and stuff that I make on the other end of the phone, and I keep asking him, like, I'll ask my manager, like, is it okay that I say things like this? And she's like, oh yeah, it's fine, as long as they like you, as long as they're laughing.
Look, customer service, man, it goes you could do anything you have to do to make this person feel comfortable.
Yeah.
I'm gonna off tangent here really quick. As far as I've gone for customer service, when I was younger and I was working at a grocery store, there was a gentleman that came in, and he was walking through the line, and I saw that he was carrying a revolver of sorts. And so I'm like, oh, yeah, that's nice. I don't know nothing about guns at the time. And, but I really want to, like, hype up the conversation. So I'm, like, talking to him about it. He's like, yeah. He hands it to me. I'm at the register going, like, oh, yeah, this is really cool. And I'm, like, look at it, hand it right back. All was good. Top level customer
You
service.
immediately pointed to the bottom of your chin. You're like...
It was quite literally, I was in a reverse robbery. Is what happened.
Imagine he hands it to you, and the first thing you say is, yeah, they don't let me carry one anymore because I made like an attempt or something. I don't know. Yeah, last time I robbed
it's crazy.
Yeah, I actually have this writ that says I'm not allowed to hold a firearm anymore because I robbed a bank.
Well, customer service, top two, you have to go all the way. You say anything you need to make these people feel comfortable.
Exactly. So that's what I was doing this whole like past few weeks. But we finally finished like our like full on training period, like quote unquote. And so we had a graduation ceremony. It wasn't anything too crazy. It was just like a group potluck, and a bunch of management came, right? And funny little tangent on that is we had this potluck, and so I had already said the day before, I was like, I'm just gonna make a giant thing of like chicken salad and bring crackers and stuff, so that way, it's something homemade. But I came home and went, I'm not doing shit. I'm not doing anything. So I went to H-E-B, the grocery store here, the morning before, and I was like, okay, what am I going to get? I walk through the whole dessert section, and I find something for $5, and then I buy some sodas for like $5, and I go, okay, this is my potluck contribution. And then I bring it, I set it in there. One by one, my coworkers come walking in. One by one, and each of them has a different dessert from the same section of H-E-B.
No way!
Every single one of them. Every single person.
Good.
But no one doubled up. No one. Like, I saw all the things that they brought, I saw with my eyes in the store and thought, I could buy that. And I didn't. We all brought a different thing. And I said, we're a good team, guys. We brought the whole bakery section.
That does make a good team, though. When everyone thinks differently like that, that is ideal. Because I've been to potlucks where 3 people brought the same exact cookies for Food Line. It's like, come on, man, really? You could have got something different. You could have thought differently from me.
Yeah. Ugh. So I am told earlier this day, we're all sitting in the room. My direct supervisor is right there, and she goes, "Okay, so we do like to at these graduation ceremonies have one person speak and give a quote-unquote mission moment, which is like, hey, something along the lines of your training, like an experience you had with one of the members or customers that was very meaningful, and like how you impacted their experience," right?
Okay.
And then one person across the room looks at me. I do this to people all the time, so I do not care. But I throw people under the bus, dude. Like, I volunteer everyone for everything. And so someone looks at me and is like, "Oh, Seth will do it."
That's crazy.
And I was like, okay. I just shrugged my shoulders. Okay. and,
Fine, whatever. I guess I'll do it.
and I did have an experience recently that was like pretty good. And so I thought, okay, I guess I'll talk about that one lady I was on the phone with. And so after this moment, we continue with the meeting we're having, and we go do some work. The potluck's in like 3 or 4 hours, so I'm like, I'm not gonna worry about it. I'll get to it then. 3 or 4 hours go by, and we're at the potluck, and we're all sitting around this table, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, I got to do that thing. I gotta like say something to everybody in this room, and these are important managers in the room, people who will affect the rest of my career. And so I'm sitting there. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to say something. Oh, that's crazy. I didn't know when. No one told me when in this potluck anything was going to happen. So we all sit here. The room goes quiet. We all do like a little intro as we're walking in. And my direct supervisor goes, all right, to start us out, Seth is going to do this.
Crazy.
So I had
you do this thing and just start up immediately.
I had exactly 0 seconds to think about any of this because I thought, oh man, I didn't prepare anything.
Didn't you have a dream about this one time within last year? I feel like we've talked about it. You had a dream we had to step up on stage for something. It was like a convention and you had to speak on something.
I think we did have that conversation where like I had a dream that I got volunteered to speak on a stage. And this is what it was like. So I bought myself about 10 more seconds because I looked around the room and said, you guys want me to stand or sit? And I'm in a full suit, by the way. I'm in my full like wedding attire suit because it's a big day. I knew I was going to be around management. And so I'm in a suit. And so they're all like, stand. And so I stand up in front of this whole room and I give the best gosh darn improv speech you've ever heard in your life. Like people, I was adding in like little comedian quippy jokes in the middle, and the whole room was laughing. And then I was throwing out at the very end, like I came up with like the like a really good closeout that was like, yeah, and I'm glad that I was there to provide her exceptional service. Something like I add that right there at the end, and the whole room erupts into applause, and I was like, dang, Seth, that was I knew while I was speaking that I didn't know what I was saying, but that it was perfect. And my highest manager that was in the room is standing there with his phone recording the whole thing. And so I'm like, okay, he's got that. He can pull that up and say, this is the guy that you need to promote on your team. You know, he can do that. Anyways,
I'm hearing instant promotion.
It was that kind of moment where I was like, ooh, that was good. That was really good. But it instantly shot me back to, I believe it was a time in my first campaign that I ran where I had a big villain that I had planned for a whole couple of months. But I had never written anything that crazy about him. And at the end, instead of killing the big bad, my players decided they would help him and they would instead put him on trial back in the original city that they came from. And I was like, oh no, I don't know what I'm going to say in this trial. But I had to give them closure, you know, on the campaign. It was the last session. And
which is a crazy twist, because normally everyone goes murder hobo and will kill extra people.
No, but
versus, yeah, we're gonna go bring justice to the world with this. Like, what? Who makes that decision?
Yeah, and so they wanted to bring justice, and so they took this guy back to town, and they put him on trial. And I gave the best villain speech anyone's ever given in their life because of D&D there, because I was like, this was a good speech, and to the point where someone at the table went, man, how long did it take you to write that? And I said, write it? What do you mean?
Hopefully you wrote it down, because I don't know what I said.
Yeah, hopefully your manager was there recording it. So back to the work story. It was good enough to the point where there was this one girl in the room who I recognized because we had watched her give one of these speeches on a video at the beginning of training. So I recognized her face. I was like, I know this person because I've seen them in a video doing exactly what I'm doing right now. So I recognized her. She pulls me to the side afterward and goes, that was really, really good. She was like, she was like, you should do that on the big stage one day. Because
deal.
there's a giant auditorium in our office, the size of like the one that we had at our college. And that auditorium, annually, they do big things like this. She was like, "You should do that," and I was like, all right. I mean, you just let me know and I'll do it.
Let me know when you want to start paying me. I mean, I'll be there.
So yeah, I don't think I could have improvised a speech that well if I didn't have so much experience becoming a character in 3 seconds.
Yeah, I think it comes into like the immersion level, right?
Oh yeah,
It's where if you can immerse yourself in being an imaginary character that you have zero connection with, or it's completely made up, right? Why can't you relate to yourself? Like, why
Right.
can't you get in the moment and really answer those questions to the prime? So no, absolutely. I think that's a good one. If I had to say, one thing that kind of D&D has brought me, or skills that it's given me that I could bring into the real place, I would match it for improv, but I would give a different situation. Work related, I'm gonna say interviews.
ooh, dude, I
As
never
far as
prepare for
improv-
interviews.
No, you absolutely don't need to. There's zero reason. There's zero reason to prep for an interview. You are talking about yourself. If you have to prep to speak for yourself, to me, it doesn't make, some people, maybe they're not great at speaking. I understand that. A lot of people struggle with it. For me personally, and I'm sure for yourself as well, you're just selling yourself. You know what you could do.
They just have to
You
like
know
you by
you're
the end of
out.
it.
Yeah, make them laugh a couple times, give them a smile, maybe like, do your hair up beforehand. I don't know.
What are
But
you trying to
just
say
make
about my hair?
Look, man, this is the intervention episode of Table Talk Friday. Seth hair. I mean, what is going on with this Nat 1? Am I right? But no, for real, as far as improv goes, excellent for interviews. If you can get into these characters, if you can really quick on the fly reply to a ancient black dragon that's about to melt you and your friends and talk your way out of it, why can't you get this job, man? Come on, talk to these guys, give them a good answer about why you're great. Tell them that you're really good at, data entry or customer service, whatever it is. Let them know how great you are. Make them laugh. Kill that interview. But D&D helps with that substantially. I find one of the best ways at D&D to do that, beyond just like talking to people, is often like the problem solving in the moment, or like skill checks. A lot in the last, I would say, probably year or two, really, we've kind of been leaning at our table towards these skill check challenges of like flying up in the air through the cold, or swimming through the river Styx. You weren't there for that one, but
Yeah.
swimming through the river Styx to retain your memories, like all these cool kind of skill check moments, right? And a lot of the time, you don't have much time to prep at all for these skill checks. It pops up, and it's like, how do you want to not fly off this spaceship? What are you gonna do? Do I have any rope? Do I have any spells that work for this? What's my, I'm a barbarian. Okay, I'm a barbarian. I use my strength. I'm gonna grip onto the side of the boat. You just really quick have to throw something out there. And I feel like those specifically are really good use of these interview types of questions, because you have no idea what they're gonna say to you. They could give you the, what's your favorite fruit question, and you're like, God damn, I wasn't thinking about what my favorite fruit was. And my banana, they're kind of long, and my brain's kind of like long. I don't know. You gotta think really quick. Yeah, but like that's how you're thinking in these interviews, right? Really quick on the fly. They're staring at you. There's no pause menu, and in D&D you even get a little more leeway, right? Where it's like, okay, he's taking a second because this isn't his real person, right? He's thinking about something cool to say. Fine. In these interviews, this guy in a suit is staring at you, like, give you a good answer right now, and you got to really quick fling these things back. And D&D is prime for this. So I'm just saying, I'll be your reference, boys. If you wanna get a good job, play some D&D, man. Let them know in the interview you play D&D. Let them know you play D&D and you're the biggest nerd ever, and they'll guaranteed give you the job.
Yeah, and this is where you can sign up for our one-on-one mock interviews that we just said were a waste of time. Could you imagine? We start pitching a service.
Oh my god, we could do it. Role play. I feel like that's not something that's done. Role play sessions. Like, do people pay for that? I mean, you could pay for D&D.
What do you
But
mean?
as far as like, kind of like, think about like role play itself, right? There's LARPing outside of D&D.
Yeah.
Like, there's other role play situations, different types of role play tabletops, right? And people will pay for mock interviews. Will people pay for like role play practice?
Oh, 100%. People pay for
I've never heard of it
dude.
before. I've never heard of someone doing it. I'm just curious, like, where you would go to even pay for that.
Speaking of paying, patreon.com/tabletalkfriday. There's going to be an amazing post show after this one, but we still got a lot of show left. Yes, people would pay for role play. I think if you were just like, yep, we're gonna do an RP session, don't bother character creation, just come up with a character or something like that, and we're all gonna hang out.
I feel like that'd be fun.
I think it would
Honestly,
be fun.
that was basically us playing Sea of Thieves. I mean, role playing pirates back in the day. That's honestly what that was.
Dude, that was awesome.
I wouldn't say we were playing the game at all. We were doing it completely wrong.
No, we were playing
just
it completely
moving around.
right. Sea of Thieves is the only thing you can get in Sea of Thieves is cosmetics anyways. Like, you've already got all the weapons, so you just go out there, have fun. You become a pirate.
Yeah. We got to do that again. What a blast.
We've been
That was
saying we
really
got to
super
do that
fun.
again for over 6 years.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll probably keep saying it in a couple of years. We'll probably never do it again, but it really was a blast.
Oh my god. I see. I'm trying to think of other real life skills, but I think a lot of them don't come necessarily from D&D, because I'm like, okay, well, we are all very quippy, but I think that's how, like, even if we didn't play D&D, if we all played games together, we would all also have really good sense of humor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that doesn't necessarily come from that. I think as well, though, that one, it has helped a little bit with us being able to have patience when it comes to scheduling and such. Because when it comes to that, I know I used to get, especially when we were trying to plan things in college, if we, for longer than like 10 minutes, are trying to talk about scheduling, I'd just be like, I don't even want to play anymore. I'd be like, I don't even want to play anymore, trying to figure this out. And I think it's prioritizing for our group, right? Like, our prioritizing has gotten a lot different, where when D&D meant less, it was harder to schedule. Now that it is one of like my top priorities to make sure we find a spot to do it on the weekend if we can, like, it's way more consistent, and we have effectively communicated to each other on how we're gonna go about all of that. So
yeah, I like the way you said that too, and I think it really shows because when we were younger, I remember missing a lot more sessions, not like substantially, right? Not like missing every week, but I remember missing a lot more sessions. And now that we've grown older and we're all separated and different states and we all have wives or whatever it may be, right? We miss less sessions than I think we used to, which I like that. It goes by the value of how much you value that thing.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's a good one. That's a good phrase.
100%. I mean, it does come with if you find a good group, you can't let them go, right? Even if you're moving, even if you're going to go across the country, it's like, okay, you're playing online now. If everybody cares about it, they'll all play online too. If they don't do it, then they don't care as much as you do.
We have all heard the if you love something, let it go. The opposite. If you love something, never let it go.
Hold on to it.
Yes.
Grab it so hard and never let go.
Never. You have good friends that are playing D&D with you and they want to leave, kidnap them. Hold them under duress, gun to the head. Make sure they play D&D with you.
But I mean, likewise, in the opposite side of it, like, I love D&D and I love hanging out with all of you guys, but I did let it go for like a year and a half, Yeah. So I did. I was like, okay, I got to take a step back for a long time for right now, and then I'll be back when I can. And at the time, and at the time I didn't know that. Like, I thought, oh, I'm just gonna go to basic, and then I'm gonna come back, and I'm just gonna make it work. Didn't happen. It didn't happen how I planned it. But
I think that's a good reflection of how important it is to you.
Yeah,
because I think a lot of people, after giving something up, especially if you're really good at it, for a long period of time, probably wouldn't come back. I would compare it to like video games that I've played, like Dead by Daylight, right? I've gone back to the game and it's, I get like this nostalgic feel, but I'll never be as good as I once was. And if I start playing like, back in my prime, that wouldn't have been a problem for me, but I died there. Like, that's so dumb, So I probably won't ever go back to that, playing it long term. But, it was important enough of a part of your life that you came back, you quickly reconnected into like all the group chats and everything, and you're still playing.
Right.
And you're good as ever. Good as ever, Seth.
Dude, let's talk about that, actually. I had my best character moment I've ever had this last session that we did. Did I not? Did I not? So I texted Patrick a little bit beforehand because I knew in my head I was going to do stuff like this coming up, but I didn't actually tell him that I was going to like try and do divine intervention or anything.
Well, but I did the first time, but he must have been prepared.
But I did text him and I said, hey, I just want to let you know, Gene, at this point, Genesis, my character, he is kind of feeling that whole Messiah complex coming on because of all the stuff that's been going on. And so we get to this big moment, oh my gosh, where the big bad is calling me into their office basically. And I was like,
Getting called to the office.
okay, guys, you all stay back. I'm gonna go have this conversation. And I go in, and it's my character's best friend who has been corrupted by a god, and me who no longer has a god, talking back and forth. And so we're having this long conversation. He's obviously at one point like he's looking to his god for confirmation. And
it's crazy that he did that.
It was
oh my God.
it was really good on Patrick. Like I couldn't believe it because I was like, this is exactly what we need because Arden and I at this point, Arden, Jean's best friend, have swapped places. Where it's like everything's on Jean to figure it out now. It used to be that way for his best friend, where it was all on him to become strong. And then he accepted power from a god and Jean gave his up. Like perfect reflection.
It's so poetic.
It was a
So
perfect
yin-yang.
reflection. And that, but it's given Jean a big head because he still has so much power, right?
Mhm,
And
mhm.
so she's talking about the god that he's with is talking about, oh, which god is next? I've taken down Saluna. Which one is next? I'm going to take one down. And my character says, I think the god you should be worried about is me. And I use divine intervention and it freaking works. And using that divine intervention, and Patrick was like, what do you want to do? So we all sit there for about 5 minutes trying to figure out what I want to happen. And so I gave Jean a solar form. So I'm a CR21 creature now that's going to fight against this god.
Keep in mind, as far as balancing this, right? So you're a solar. I'm like this avatar of ball, right? And of course, we have power players on our team. So I don't know how he's even going to balance this. But regardless of the balance, that moment for Jean was awesome. And you didn't even mention I don't think you really harped on like the really important part, which for me was when you guys swapped places. And you have always found your way. Gene's kind of always done his own thing. He found Saluna. He followed whatever he felt was right in the moment. And Arden has always just kind of chased you, or what was supposed to be kind of the situation. And as you're telling him how it is, where he's reached your pinnacle, right? And he starts looking at the god, you're like, no, you look at me right now.
Yeah.
You look at me. That was such a BDE moment right there. Dude. That was... Oh, I got the chills. I was like, Gene's prime. This is prime Gene right now. I so wanted to go into the final fight right after that moment.
Me too, dude. I was hyped out of my mind. I was like, because this is something I wanted to mention in our previous talk is because something that I don't get as the DM is people think that the DM makes the game cinematic, right? It is not on the DM at all to make the game cinematic. They set the stage. But the players, like, I've always found that you guys make the cinematic moments happen, and that's when I'm like, dude, take an inspiration. You did great there, Stuff like that. It is the players who make the game cinematic and make it, like, badass. And there was, I had not had a moment like that in years, because I don't play that often. And so, I mean, we've had some cool little moments, like in the Christmas thing, me flying through the ice, whatever. Like, those were just fun little, like, comedic moments that I was like, oh, this would be in Elf, like in the movie Elf. Like, this is some silly stuff we're doing. But, like, I got to have the moment where everyone was like, holy shit, I can't believe he's doing this.
Yeah, and it works because when you put your passion behind it, right, and you really start role playing these moments and putting your role into these characters, they shine.
Yeah.
And to your point, it's not on the DM, but the DM does have that responsibility to really set the stage for it. Give your players that foundation. Give them, that curtain pulling away kind of moments where they can really come out and shine.
Yeah.
But you're right. The players have to pull the trigger on it.
Ooh. It was crazy. I'm getting chills now thinking about it. That was so good.
I have goosebumps right now.
Let's call Patrick and have him do the session right now.
Let's do it. When we were actually talking about continuously playing because I think we had finished at a reason. It was like 10 o'clock,
and it was on a Saturday instead of a Sunday, so no one was working the next day.
I was like, guys, if you want a final fight right now, I'll stay till 2. I'm good with this.
The hard part is Patrick didn't count on me becoming a solar, so he was like, "Oh, I have to rebalance the encounter now."
God, how? Okay, let's take a different angle on this, Seth. You're the DM now of this situation. One of your now by your own doing, right? But one of your players now becomes a solar.
Yeah.
How do you go about balancing this? Let's just say Arden is your, he's your final boss, right? Or maybe Naretha. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe both of them. How do you go about balancing this? Do you buff up both of them? Do you add minions? Do you give them
I'll tell you exactly
items?
what I would do.
What would you do?
So you know how when you guys were diving through hell and we were using and I think given the amount of like things I got in the brain of from DMing for you guys for so many years, I think I could have just run the encounter right after that. Like if I wasn't planning for that CR21 creature, I think I could have run the encounter still.
Okay.
I would probably need a quick 5-er, but we could go into it. So you know when you guys were diving through hell and you were facing off against a bunch of different like archdevils and stuff, right?
Yes.
There was that one specifically that had those little like insects that were flying around that were were tracking you guys basically in that one layer, and you guys had to retreat from them and try to get to the next layer. I would probably pull up a stat block like that, like a big stat block, and be like, all right, I'm going to give this to either Neretha or Arden now whenever their old stat block is now too weak. And I'd just be like, I'd pop that one right on them. And I would translate their abilities to it and be like, okay, that one's going to work. And then...
You think it's phase 2?
Yeah. So...
Okay.
Just add on that stat block. So like, okay, this will be, I don't know, Arden's bug form. I don't know, his flower form. And we'll throw that on. And then whatever the superpowered thing you had to already account for your crazy creature that you're going to be, let that stay. And so then you've got 2 huge creatures and then maybe, I don't know, a couple of minions. I think the easiest thing for me to do though would be to just, take out one of those creatures from the Kobold Press monster manual thing and be like, all right, I've got a big demon for you. I'm just going to pop out another CR20 creature for you.
Okay. I kind of like though that your first intention was to give it like a phase 2 sort of alternative stat block. I think that's interesting because I don't normally go to that. I think I have some pretty interesting bosses and enemies that I've tossed you guys' way, but I don't think I've ever done much of a phase 2. I guess the Christmas one-off I did where Jack Frost had merged with the Glacial Behemoth, but that was sort of on the fly. I didn't actually anticipate that. It just kind of felt right in the moment. So that's cool. I like the whole phase 2. What do they call it in the Fizz bands that came out? It was the mythical form or the mythical action or something like that.
Yeah, I don't remember
something
exactly
like
what it was.
But it's kind of the vibe it gives me, where almost they do like a resurrect self or a rejuge, I'm gonna call it, where they get zhuzhed up and they're ready to go again for round 2. But that's fun. I like that. Obviously, throwing in more monsters is a good second, but kind of giving them their own form or their own presence, I think, is really neat and strong.
Yeah,
definitely interesting.
Now that I think about it, I think some of my big bads could have been a lot more fulfilling having the second phase. Like, imagine Asmodeus. You guys get to that big moment at the end, and like Oswin shoots him with the Asmodeus killing gun. It goes through his chin, and then all of a sudden he fades into like a shadow, and there's a second form, but like he is the whole room.
I feel like you have to be careful with that too, though, because in that moment, that was hyped up to be the end. I remember we all kind of grouped up around him like we were ready to go, and you as the DM are kind of hinting that he's getting low, he's on his last legs here. If you pull the trigger on that and he doesn't go down, I feel like it could really pull away from the moment if you're not running it appropriately. Like if you're not giving the right energy, if you give off the wrong energy, like they're almost done for, and they reform or re-resurrect, that could really throw the vibe off.
Yeah, it definitely could. So I think that encounter ended the way it should. I think it was good.
Oh, no, definitely. Not everyone's meant to have 2 phases. I'm just surprised it hasn't happened more. For the amount of 2-phase bosses you fight in games, like, why hasn't it happened more in D&D? But
yeah. Maybe because combat takes so long anyways.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Maybe there's a way to shorten it. Maybe we can do that as a separate topic. There was one thing I wanted to mention, which is if I were a final boss and you took me down to 0 hit points, I think my second form, honestly, would be good old Gamer over at our Patreon. I'm just saying, I feel like you take me down to 0 hit points, like, oh, that was a tough fight. And then good old Gamer comes out with his crazy comments from patreon.com. Oh my God. This man, he would probably decimate the whole party. Probably too strong. I would say probably don't want to put good old Gamer in your games, especially if you're a low-level party. But for those high-level parties, you got crazy magic items. You want to give your players a good fight, throw a good old Gamer in there, guys. Just saying. Toss him in.
Thank you, good old Gamer. Yeah, man. I'm never going to forget. I couldn't believe it, where I remember jumping into the beginning of the campaign with Patrick, right? And you already know, I've got the skill for making a character quickly and being like, all right, I'm done. That's it. And made my character real quick, jumped into the session, and Patrick's like, don't worry, I'm going to make sure that your character's a big part of this. And I'm like, okay, whatever you say, man. And I jump in, not even taking it too seriously because I was like, I'm just going to be a cool cleric. I've never played a cleric like this before. Dude, Gene's my favorite character ever. He's
your top favorite?
I mean, it would be Elijah if I ever got to actually play him. Elijah, for the audience, was my ranger Genasi, and I loved playing him, but I've only gotten to play him for 3 sessions. So
that's good. Elijah's good.
Yeah, at this point, yeah, Gene's number 1 because he's easy to play. It's easy to get into his headspace. I like making him so perfectly imperfect. But he's kind of been, at this point, because I keep telling Patrick, I keep making all these cocky comments as him, right? I keep throwing in, like, all this stuff. Gene's become a Mary Sue. And you know what a Mary Sue is in fictional? And so in fiction, a Mary Sue is, like, a very strong, like, female character who is just perfect in everything they want and everything goes their way all the time. So, like, imagine the, like, really badass female character that walks in an anime and just destroys the whole room, no problem, because they're just so ultra powerful. Everything goes their way, and it's kind of a bad trope at this point because they're like, all you did was make everything go this one character's way. If this character's there, nothing's going wrong. You know,
the permanent plot armor.
Yeah, exactly. Permanent plot armor. There's no adversity for this character. And Gene's kind of Gene's kind of become that at this point because it used to be just like cast bless hide, and then once he had his whole god shift up thing, switch him into light cleric, and now I'm just doing tons of damage all the time. I was like, why am I a cleric doing this much damage? Oh my god.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is I'm also only playing cleric from now on. Everyone's playing cleric from now on.
It's literally the best class. I don't care what anybody says. I cannot wait in campaign 3 to play a cleric all the way to 20. And if you want to go, I guess you're not going to be playing. You're going to be running the damn thing. Damn it! I want to talk to somebody else to see if we could go double cleric again. The one time we played double cleric was Theros. I know you weren't there. It was incredible. It was awesome. Having double Aura Vitalities, Spirit of Guardians and Aura Vitality. Spirit Guardians casting blast and everything out. Like, it was so good. The support was insane.
I know Chase has mentioned wanting to play Ranger. So he
Really?
Yeah, he really wants to play a Ranger, as far as I know. Patrick is still set on Wizard.
No, I thought he swapped. He said he was going to go. It was a Paladin, I thought.
That would be awesome. I would love that for him because we don't really get a whole lot of Paladins.
I like to see some stuff we don't normally. I'd like to see a permanent barb. I don't think, have we had a permanent barb besides Spelljammer, not including it, like in the main campaign?
Main campaign? Yes. I want to say we have. I don't know. Actually, I don't know.
I don't think so. Maybe someone was part barb taking like the rage or something, but I don't think we got a full. I want to see a full tank, an absolute tank.
I don't think Zach said what he wants to play. Has he for next campaign?
I want him to play Druid more than anything. This guy hypes up his Druid game so hard.
I know
how much he loves it.
I know.
Play Druid, man. Do it.
Dude, it's been almost a decade and he's never played a long-term Druid. Oh, well, I guess his current one is a Druid, right?
Yeah, but it's different though because he rages too. So he's like a mixed up one.
Yeah, because he was doing the whole. At first he had to wild shape and stuff, but now he doesn't have to, and he just does bear totem stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's a completely unique situation because he's actually a bear now.
Yeah,
he's not really a druid; he's a bear.
Yeah, he is a barbarian. Just it's not a super long term campaign.
That's what I want to see. I want to see a druid. Can you imagine the support of a druid and a cleric of the same team? That's nasty.
Yeah,
that's
maybe
straight nasty.
You know what? I think this is a good idea for us to go ahead. I'm gonna send a message in the chat today after we record this.
Yeah,
and we're gonna talk a little bit about campaign 3 because now that Patrick's finished his thing, it's about time, right?
Oh yeah, and I think we have to take one more dive into Theros.
Yes,
and he only mentioned it was like 2 or 3 sessions.
Yeah, he said 2 or 3 sessions.
Is coming up. We got like a month or 2 out, maybe.
Yep,
I would think.
Yep.
Damn, that's crazy.
So it's coming up. So I'm gonna start a conversation today. We're gonna get the group together. We're gonna decide setting. I am heavily leaning towards just having you guys just be in Faerun again.
Look, I'm totally into it. I'm really into it. I was sort of veering, I think, towards the end. We had a conversation about this, kind of getting away from everyone a little bit. Maybe I'm excited to go back to the roots.
Yeah. So I'm heavily thinking about that, but I think it's time to start talking about characters and how I can work them into writing so I can set the stage for session 1. All the sessions past that don't need to be planned yet. I just need session 1 planned, and I know the cinematic moment I'm going to have to start out at the beginning, but I don't know how the rest of the session is going to go because I don't have characters yet. So I think it's time to start thinking about long-term characters for everybody. Now, before we end this session, let's discuss. Do we start at level 1, Drew, or do we start at level 3?
It's so tough. It depends.
This is a 20 level campaign.
I kind of want to start at 1. I'm not gonna lie to you. But with level 2 health.
We can do that. We can do 1 with level 2 health.
I think that's one of the best like homebrew rules, and Zach had kicked it off with that fighting spirit. But I love the idea of being level 1, level 12.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all. Being like, okay, start you guys off, make it a little more survivable at the beginning because I intend on the characters living for a while, you know.
Oh yeah.
Now I want there to be opportunity for death, but I don't want it to be from a random crit on session 1.
Exactly. At least have it warranted, right? Like you did something stupid, you put yourself in the fray, right?
Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking. Now, is it going to happen that way? Who knows? But we're going to do that starting today. So if you guys are hearing this is how your session planning should go. You start ahead of time. You don't do it right when the group gets together. You have everybody plan ahead of time so we can have a good discussion. Okay, that sounds good. Thank you for listening to Table Talk Friday. We had a wonderful conversation today about real life skills, our current campaign, and how you can make your sessions more cinematic using everything you've learned. But you know where you can hear the conversation continue? Sometimes it's about D&D, and sometimes it's just about video games, life, anything else that's going on in the industry. That's over on patreon.com/tabletalkfriday, where the post show we're about to do is going to be. And with that, can I have Campaign 3, Eric, take me out of this session?
What it be, everybody? This is Campaign 3, Eric, ready to go. About to kick it off in 1 month. That was 1 month. That's right, 1 month out. We are going to be absolutely demolishing. Get ready, get hyped, get prepped. Campaign 3 coming to you live.